The ruckman will go to it. It'll be Richardson as against big Matt Allen. And the crowd is back. They were talking about 25,000. It certainly hasn't reached that, but it will build. A lot still making their way home for work as this match is just about to get underway. The opening bounce, Rob Gaylard.
Looking forward to it, Michael. Allen it is, in there for Carlton. Gets first touch of the footy of season 97, if you want to call it part of the season. It certainly is. Handball off here to teammate going through there with Whitehead. And Carlton into attack up towards half forward. Good punch from behind by the Collingwood defence. A few nerves, I suppose, to start off with. Here's McKay. Good to see him back home for the Blues. And I suppose I could say, if anything at all, Dakes, it's really going to bring a little bit of stability about the Carlton lineup. And also, this kid's got to play better footy too by being here with all his teammates.
I certainly do think so. They've been meaning for a long time to bring him across, or has been touted for two years now.
Allen, second touch. Not a decisive tap out. Good tackle. This allows Collingwood through with a little bit of weight. Handball to Allen. And a good mark taken right on 50 for the Blues. A chance to drive it right into attack here. There's nobody home at open goal square, but it's offline. I think it came off the boot of Whitnell, the big red-headed fellow. This is the young fellow that all the raps have been on, Mike.
Yes, Whitnell, the first score of the match, are behind. So the kick back into play with Carlton going to the Heatley stand in. Hot conditions here. The kick back into play just outside the 50. Getting up, good strong grab. And it's quickly palmed away. Taken there, the hand pass goes to Beaumont, into the pocket, and just wide. Russell goes by hand, clearing it out towards the back pocket. And the Maggies, cool, as they take it up towards centre wing. The mark there was taken by Richardson. Quickly, hand passes, all messing around a little bit. Krasiska on ground, shovels the ball out, finds Buckley. High ball. Still in the centre square, fisted away by Christou. Tries to run onto it again. Could have got a high tackle, he did.
And Buckley actually lining up across half forward for Collingwood. Centre half forward being picked up by McKay. And it's interesting to see Steve Kernahan for Carlton. It's centre half forward picked up by Trent Houghton.
So Ange Christou at half back. The left footer across centre. And a good mark has been taken by Koutafidis. He steadies. Point of the centre square towards Whitnell. Couldn't quite get it. At the back, still the chance. Murphy. Hand pass out back. It goes to Murphy. If he can control it. Appeal for the free, and the umpire decides that he will intervene and bounce the footy in the forward pocket. The Blues into attack.
Just noticed young Damien Locke there throwing his body in quite willingly.
Well, both teams are doing that quite well at the moment. Carlton seem to have the upper hand. I think a feature of Carlton's game so far has been their willingness just to move the ball on quickly.
Right in Carlton's forward pocket. Richardson, it was who got the tap out. Quick hands here for Carlton. A chance. Good snap from goal offline, though. That came off the boot there of Justin Murphy. Now Murphy, another new face into the Carlton side.
Well, a very good player for Carlton late last year. He kicked a few goals for him. I think late he established himself, and I think they're looking for big things from him this year, Carlton.
So the Blues doing the attacking in the early stages. Two behinds. Collingwood yet to score. Short kick back into play. It's okay though. Schwabel takes the mark. Cross towards half back. And he's picked out his teammate up there in Armat. Left half back, up towards centre wing. Good use of the body there at the back of the pack. It's taken away there by Whitehead. And he finds Milhana. Being shielded today, Milhana. Back he goes to Whitehead. Another hand passes. The Blues are doing pretty well with the footy in the opening stages. Sexton gets the kick out towards left half forward. Murphy almost.
Interesting on Collingwood's kick-outs that Carlton is setting up Kernahan at half forward, Cooter and Beaumont, all big, tall players looking for the long kick-out, trying to block Collingwood.
About 60 metres around from the Collingwood goals. Nobody could get the clean tap down there, close to the boundary again, before Francis could get to it, and there's going to be a boundary throw-in.
Be interesting to see how Matty Allen does perform. The last few weeks, Justin Madden been in the news with his future, and Matty Allen now getting the opportunity to show his wares.
A little bit of a virus the last week or so, as Big Harry, which allows Allen the chance. Carlton. This is Whitehead. Up towards the forward line. All Collingwood up. Who's down for Carlton? A chance. Went without the footy there. That was Anstey. This allows the Collingwood defence through. Sloppy handball, but they can get away with it because they have a ton of room. 3 players running into open spaces, and they drive it down inside 50. And this is Big Rocker, Severio. And he can boot this, although they have extended the ground here, Dakes.
Well, I think you'll find the Optus Oval is 10 to 15 metres longer, so it'll be an interesting kick, but from 50 is a proven player.
That's the only thing that won't change, Dakes, and that's the 50 metres, we hope. Severio Rocker coming in to try and put the first score on the board for Collingwood. It's going to fall a mile short, doesn't even reach the square. Defence for Carlton. Nice kick. Pinpoint accuracy to Sexton. Michael Sexton. About 40 metres out, defensive side. Comes right out to the members. In there is Kernahan. McKay offers the body for support. Sloppy handball. This allows Collingwood in, but they can't control it as the footy beats that player over the line. And that is Brett Chandler.
I think one area that Carlton so far or so early in this game have shown out has been at the drop of the ball. They've really got numbers and they've got players to the ball.
Richardson, front position, tries to shield Allen out. Oh, good roving by the big fellow. Came through, off hands. Got it off to a teammate here in Beaumont. Beaumont's kick, beautifully delivered to Kernahan. And Stephen Kernahan marks right on 50. You'll want to get this moving quickly because the square's open. I don't think it's going to carry far enough. Off from behind, almost a Carlton mark. Got in the back of him, Charles. He's been in everything so far. Now got into the back of the Collingwood player. And I suppose, in hindsight, probably not a bad free kick to give away. Krasiska gets it off hands to a teammate. Collingwood come out from that back line in towards the centre. Here's Buckley. Oh, picks it up, reads it beautifully. Look at the pass from Buckley. Superb. Collingwood. And this seems quite strange. Richard Osborne wearing the same number 44, but he's representing Collingwood tonight. And I'd like to have a ticket in tats here. Richard Osborne making the distance. A beautiful kick of the football. He'll kick from about 35 metres. Slight angle. Kicking to the new legend stand end here at Optus Oval. It's a glorious sight here now. That's Carlton. Osborne comes in. Splits the woodwork. Richard Osborne. The Collingwood fans like that. And the Pies on the scoreboard. That's their first. They lead now. Carlton, who are 2 behind. Collingwood 1 straight goal.
Well, terrific goal by Collingwood. Great lead-up play. I think Jason Wild really triggered that after a free kick to Krasiska, who quickly moved the ball on. Jason Wild was able to just tap that ball over. Didn't take the ball, which was the key. He was under pressure. Buckley was able to run through, boot the ball long into the forward line, and there was Richard Osborne.
Clever football though, Dakes, wasn't it?
Very good.
Beautifully
and again, Richard Osborne leading his Carlton player under the ball and then backing back to kick truly.
First goal of the match going to the Magpies. Osborne at his 4th club, kicking the first goal of the season. As Hannah runs onto it for the Blues, he kicks it in towards the forward pocket, running onto it. Whitnell, he's been a damaging player in the opening moments, lays the tackle. Prestigiacomo wants the free kick, but play on the call. As Russell got the hand pass away, and the Magpies taking too much time. Krasiska almost lost it, and Kernahan almost took it. Still the chance for the Blues. Hand pass goes out to Camprioli. Snap, not quite far enough. The chance though, off boot. Or touched.
2 chances too.
They had a few, didn't they?
Well, again, Gavin Krasiska taking his time and being put under pressure, really couldn't find anyone in a situation like that coming out of defence. The thing you do when you're under pressure is just kick long and kick out towards the boundary.
Scott Camprioli not happy with that effort. This oval scoreboard shows Carlton through behinds and Collingwood 1 straight goal. Lovely kick from fullback. The big fellow up there, Allen, couldn't bring it to the ground. It's all Collingwood here on centre wing on the members' side. The bounce didn't really come up true for him. It was Chandler who pushed it down there. Quick hands. Centre half forward. Carlton over the top. They do drag the ball back in underneath. Dangerous thing to do in footy nowadays, Dakes, but he got away with it.
Well, he did get away with it. Very
Sexton.
lucky on that occasion, Michael Sexton.
Sexton. Carlton, centre wing. Strong mark. Long arms here of Beaumont. Sets it up. He's trouble. Touch football for Collingwood. The picture tells the story. This is Armat. Robbie Armat, pretty speedy, drives it back. New look.
Wasteful kick.
As we see here in Stephen Silvani with the short hair. Gets it across to a teammate. Half back. They'll run around. And as we have a look at Hannah with the headband on. Yes, they'll pay them. And to take this is Whitehead. Whitehead for Carlton. Ops the shorts for Mackay. He'll take off. Shorts again to Silvani. No, it's not, sorry, Silvani. It's Kernahan. And Kernahan picks out someone else at centre half forward. Here's Whitehead. Well down from full back. Here's a chance for the Blues. A swing here from Hamill. Touch.
Bottom of the post. But again, Carlton, Stephen Kernahan on that occasion coming well up the ground looking for kicks. And Steve Kernahan looking quite fit, proving that this time of year, early in the year, he has got fitness under his belt.
Peter Dean having a bit of a look there. Paul Behinds plays one straight goal.
The kick out from Buckley. Ends up once again with Scotty Russell. Doing pretty well back there. Goes in short. Prestigiacomo taking his time in towards the middle. Hannah was almost there for the Blues, but running onto it, Williams. After a bounce, inside 50. Drop punt, looks to have missed. Oh, it wasn't bad off the boot. It just swung away, though. But some good fast breaks by the Maggies in the early stages.
I think that's been a key, Mike. Robbie Armat's been very good for Collingwood coming off that wing. Is running with the ball, bouncing it. Williams is the other player. Scotty Russell starting to get a little bit of the ball, and Collingwood looking dangerous.
I'll tell you what, they're going to be in trouble here. Silvani did get away with it. Quick hands here from Hannah. They drive it out wide. Osborne, clever, just puts the hands up to try and deflect. Carlton going to have to try and do something hard here. Beaumont flung off the football. And this allows Collingwood through. Handball to Buckley. Buckley will size this up from outside 50. In fact, he's gone for the option inside. Just inside 50. Beautiful pass. Could have really blazed away there. He's found his teammate here in Shane Watson.
Well, I think the norm on that occasion with Buckley heading straight into goal, I think you had Ange Christou and I think Koutafidis who were sort of shielding or in and around the area of Shane Watson, expecting Buckley to go to the square. He then about face went to the middle of the ground and a terrific pass to find Watson.
Watson virtually directly in front. He'll kick from 48 metres. Right foot drop punt to the left. And another behind. Just having a look before Dakes too with Collingwood's Williams. Paul Williams, my reports from the track, this kid is absolutely flying this year, so it's going to be a good year for Williams from all reports in pre-season.
Well, I've heard the same thing, Rob. He's had a terrific pre-season, very fit, and again, Collingwood using their plays, pushing him up the ground and then allowing him to come back.
Neil Hanna's had quite a few touches in the early stages. He takes it out wide, looks there for the big ruckman Allen, gets the hand pass to Sexton off boot, close to the boundary, and finally over. That was before Damien Locke could do anything with the footy.
Look, over the years we've come to know Carlton as probably being a lot slower. The Optus Oval now being extended will really test their style of game, and it'd be interesting to see whether that falls apart. But Collingwood again pace a problem.
12 and a half minutes gone in the first quarter here at Optus Oval, the Optus Challenge Cup. And the Magpies leading by 4 points. 1-8, playing Carlton 4 behinds and narrowly hits the Magpies into attack. But the ball's still about 80 metres around from their goals. Outer side in front of the Legend stand here at Optus Oval. We throw in. Krasiska got hands to it, but to no avail really. The Blues take it away. Outer side towards the centre half forward. Bursting through again was Williams. Off the ground. Clever thinking. Murphy has been a dangerous player to full forward. Good judgment from Buckley. It was intended for Koutafidis. Buckley, though, looking there for Armat, who's had plenty of touches. It's going to be a boundary throw-in.
That's an interesting job. Nathan Buckley being given the job on Anthony Koutafidis. Koutafidis going back into the Carlton goal square at full forward. Buckley picking him up.
Collingwood fans looking to see if Armat can take that next step. Was thereabouts all last year. Dakes. Allen. Krasiska. Centre wing. Loose footy falls to Ulio. Quick hands here. This is Murphy. The Blues into attack again. Kernahan behind on this occasion, but the bounce is going to favour him. Just caught out of position. Richardson had the front spot. He's going to beat them over the line. Buckley puts the hands together. Well done, fellas. You fought hard. Because Kernahan was caught out of position then. But, as I said, the bounce just favoured him, coming back awkwardly. Right on 50. And, sorry, mate, a heap of Carlton players there just about to come around there, that interchange area.
It'd be interesting to see if Carlton win this ball and boot it to centre forward. Matty Allen has dropped back into it.
Well, they take the ball deep into defence, Collingwood. They'll need handball quickly. Buckley tries to keep it in and does. and it was touched over the line by the looks of Krasiska again. So the boundary umpire will throw it in yet again. So we're going to have some fun a little bit later on, boys. I'll just forewarn you, I'm looking at both interchange benches at the moment, and I think there's about 10 on either one.
It was big Adam White for Carlton, waiting for his turn as Kernahan got the knockdown. The Blues are right half forward at the moment, and they're going to pick up a free kick.
Well, very good play on that occasion from Simon Beaumont, who put his body over the ball, and in a situation like that, when it's a 50-50 ball, the player in front or at the bottom will always get the benefit.
Left footer, deep into attack. Still directed, though. And the mark taken on the last line of defence there by Prestigiacomo. He goes right across the face of goal, quite safe as it's turned out. The Maggies have numbers.
Williams.
Up towards centre wing. Nobody can take clean possession of the footy. Scott Russell there, number 29. Williams, number 10. He's had a good start to this game, hasn't he? And Mil Hanna has had plenty of touches as well. Boundary throw in, though. Just the one goal in the game so far, which has been going for 16 3/4 minutes. Collingwood leading by 4 points. Good crowd here at Optus Oval. Whitnell. The Blues with a chance. The hand pass goes out towards Murphy. Good tackle, Krasiska. Still a chance, though, as it was picked up there by number 17. That's Damien Locke. Had landed there with his teammate in Hamill. And Williams again, but he can't do anything with it.
Well, young Lance Whitnell covering a hell of a lot of ground. He was up on the wing there, and after Hamill won the ball, moved into a position to receive it. Unfortunately, the kick wasn't too good, going over his head and out of bounds. But Collingwood's pace and running ability worrying Carlton at the moment.
Kernahan, a big tap out from the back, but Scotty Russell comes through with a ton of speed. He's there to make amends because Collingwood missed the handball. Picking up, though, Carlton is the bandanaed one. Hanna drives in towards centre half forward in front of Koutafidis. Gets one over the shoulder. Too high, says the umpire.
Well, an interesting job, Rob, for Nathan Buckley. Koutafidis, the thing he does so well, even though he's tall, he does make a habit of jumping into the air. So as a 6'2" player, once he gets himself into the air and extends those long arms, I mean, a very hard player to knock the ball away on that occasion. That being the proof, Buckley giving a free kick away.
Koutafidis has a chance to put the Blues' first goal on the board. They're just 4 behinds at the moment. Drops it fairly awkwardly onto the boot. And the moment it left his hands, Dakes, maybe you could give him a lesson or two.
Well, I think one of the problems with Anthony Koutafidis, and I've been told, is he puts a heap of glue on his hands, and that certainly does help him with his marking, where the ball will stick. But unfortunately, when you're kicking the ball does tend to stick a little bit too long, and that throws timing out with your kicking.
5 scoring shots to 3, but the Magpies lead by 3 points.
Interesting to see if Buckley will start running off.
And as he kicks it high back towards centre half back, Richardson very high. Went without the footy though. Russell fisted on. Open spaces here. Who wants the footy? Mackay. He goes to centre half forward. This looks good. He's picked out his teammate there in Whitnell.
Oh, by himself.
In the square, Kernahan. This would be an open goal. The Blues first. The skipper scores Carlton's first goal, and Carlton take the lead.
Good foresight, Whitnell.
Well, good foresight. I think the key to it there was he didn't turn his back on the play. As soon as he took the mark, came out, he turned straight around and was able to kick to a player on his own, Steve Kernahan, and Steve, no doubt, making no mistake.
Mackay getting a lot of touches early.
Mackay's been good off that half-back line.
He has. Actually, Mackay, Beaumont, Whitnell, been active. And how often do we see Kernahan dropping back to the square on his own? Buckley having to run right back. Play underway back in the centre of the ground again. A bouncing football. Heading towards Carlton's scoring zone. It's cut off here by the Pies. Picked up by Richardson. Quick handball to Krasiska. Out wide. Now, here's the racehorse. He's away. This is Paul Francis. Has it swung back? I don't think it has. Umpire signals offline again. And we check the scoreboard. Collingwood move on to 1-2-8. Carlton 1-5-11. Shocking kicking by the Blues early.
I ought to commend Lance Whitmore. Terrific bit of play from a forward short pass on that last occasion. But Paul Williams really should have straightened up and kicked on his preferred side, his right foot.
Changes being swung as we anticipated. We saw a moment ago Matthew Hogg going on. Now the chance still there for Carlton. Krasiska from 50. Not quite. Two Blues could have tossed it up there. And in the end, the mark was taken there by D'Ulio.
I don't know, when you've got a bloke like the size of Rocket coming in there and you've only got two little blokes down there, Mike, you might as well just try and make a mess of it.
Bit of a push there by Schwabel, but the Magpies get away with it. Williams, that's a lovely pass. Deep in the pocket. And now the opportunity for Watson as he goes infield. He's picked out there his teammate in Francis. Now they mess it up, though. There's going to be a bounce.
Well, Collingwood have done that in this first quarter, where a lot of their first touch after a run out of defence or anywhere in midfield, the first instinct is a short pass to break up the play. And on that occasion, really, when you're within 40 metres of goal, you should be going straight at goal.
So we're still inside the Collingwood attacking 50. Off the ground there by Osborne. Doesn't go very far, though. Krasiska buried. Off the ground again from Osborne. To right full centre-half forward position. He runs onto it. This is good play by the former everything, wasn't he? But now the chance goes to Russell, and he's offline. Well, I was going to outline them, but you say Fitzroy, Sydney, Footscray. It would have taken me 20 minutes. But another opportunity going begging for the Magpies, and look at the size of that bench.
Well, I think we've got to take into consideration the weather. Mike, players have really been pretty good for the first 20 or so minutes, and that would be telling on their fitness tonight.
A lot of clubs in practice matches tomorrow down here in Victoria, especially have brought their games forward to 10 o'clock. Whistle on play here. It's going to go Collingwood's way. And taking the quick kick here is Brett Chandler. Chandler out wide. Tony Francis started to get a couple of touches. Instigated in that forward move before. Now he's well outside 50 here. He'll go for the shorts. The lead's on. Finds him. Drops it. There's the big fellow there, and I thought it was Brown actually, but I don't think it was.
Sav Rocker.
It was Rocker.
Well, terrific play from Michael Sexton on that occasion. A terrific pass by Tony Francis. Chest high for Rocker, who was able to get into the air, but Michael Sexton with the long arms able to get across and knock that out of his hands.
Watson very busy early for the Magpies. Start to mill around here. Collingwood cleverly tap it out the back. Chance for Krasiska. They try to set it up here, Collingwood. Chandler was again getting it across here to Paul Williams. Now, Collingwood not making any impression inside 50. That's the only hassle at the moment, Dakes.
It'd be interesting Michael or Nicole could tell us just on the wind conditions.
Schwabel starts to make a bit of a position. There's a chance for him. Now he's running around loose in there and been ignored.
Well, a lot of the backmen are down there. Krasiska and Schwabel making their way into Collingwood's forward line.
Oh, this is a high kick. To Carlton, one Collingwood. It almost fell to Collingwood. It did fall to the player at the back of the pack.
Wild.
Still with it. Spins around. And a diving mark almost taken there for the Pies, that time by Severio Rocker. Just trying to pick up that other player. Was that Jason Wild, I think?
Wild, yeah, Wild down there.
If anything, at the moment, I think Collingwood's fitness is far superior. Carlton looking very tired early, and I think what you'll find in the game is that a lot of the senior players or better players will play a solid half, and then you'll get a lot of the kids coming on after half-time.
Just to point the difference at the 23-minute mark, Anthony Rocker. He's had a few touches, no clean touches though, and this time he's buried by Silvani as he puts the ball over the boundary.
Well, no bigger test for him, Stephen Silvani, the job on Anthony Rocker.
Ex-Swan, of course, but now playing alongside his brother. Chance now for the Blues. They work it away. Camporeale got a high one from Osborne. A free kick downfield. Anstey goes in short. And the up he goes down. Almost swallowed his whistle. Anstey runs back onto it across the 50. In towards the middle. The hand of Mackay. And he sends a Collingwood player down. And that is a pretty blatant free kick. The player down was Chandler. Kick towards Sav Rocker. Fisted away there by Silvani. Watson running after it, but gee, there's a bit of feeling in this game all of a sudden. A couple of pretty high tackles have been laid in the space of 60 seconds.
Well, look at this again. They didn't look a lot from a moment or two. Now you look at it in replay, and it's fairly blatant, isn't it?
Well, Osborne laying one, and there was the second. So high tackles, but well, you expect that, I suppose, when Collingwood play Carlton.
Well, if anyone thought there was nothing in a practice game, that was probably the best indicator of just the way the players are going about their football this afternoon, or tonight, I should say.
And Peter Dean was in the wrong dugout there for a moment. There was one Carlton player there and a heap of Collingwood boys behind him.
So this is Brad Fuller about to come on. And that's the reason he's coming on, because Chandler really copped a high one. right in the middle of the ground. It was Andrew Mackay who laid that one out.
Collingwood also giving Osborne, who is starting in the square. Rocker looks like he's in the far forward pocket here, closest to us here in the John Elliott stand. Well, they're the only two inside 50, so Collingwood giving him plenty of room.
Right, play underway again as the siren goes, as Collingwood get the ball to boot it back in towards their attacking zone. To no avail. Let's check it for you. The scoreboard, Collingwood. They trail by just 1 point in the first quarter here at Optus Oval in this Optus Challenge Cup. 1-4-10. They trail the Blues 1-5-11.
And the goal kickers so far, the first goal came Collingwood's way, and Richard Osborne in his first game. I guess you could call it his first game for Collingwood. Played an intra-club game, but turning out for the Magpies, and he scored. And also Stephen Kernahan kicking the goal for Carlton. But there were some good passages there in the early stages, Peter Dacos, but both sides falling down across the forward line.
The backline players of backs of both teams have been well on top. I think Collingwood, Carlton early in the game, first 5 minutes were very good, but Collingwood settled down and really were in control in that first quarter.
Peter Dacos with us in commentary. Carlton by 1 point at quarter time. Back in a moment. Yes, indeed. That was the day that Collingwood blew a 42-point lead and the grand final. Peter Dacos doesn't need to know that, though. What he's more interested in at the moment is the fact that the Maggies are down by a point at quarter time.
Well, they're down by a point, Mike, but I think they ought to be commended. I think they've had most of the play, especially the last 10-15 minutes of that quarter. I mean, they're a point down, but it really means nothing. Collingwood, I think their running was very good. I think their use of the handballs are 24-21, 16-13, and I think a lot of those marks are not too much of the overhead type mark. I think we're talking about kicking it in short, then running on. Carlton more the free kicks. Hit-outs pretty even when you consider Houghton is giving away a lot of inches to Matty Allen. But both teams ought to be commended, but I'm really interested to know. I think Carlton may have had an advantage going up to that Robert Heatley stand down.
So the Blues with more kicks, the Magpies with more hand passes, but the Blues leading by a point. Let's find out what's been happening in the middle. Nicole. Okay, couldn't quite hear that, Michael Roberts, but he played for St Kilda. I guess they didn't do much talking in those days, did they?
No, it'd be Mickey McGuan too. It looks like they've bailed Mickey up. But it's going to be interesting. As I said earlier in the commentary, I think the players, a lot of the senior players, better players will play for a half, Mike, and then a lot of the younger kids will come on. But I think if anything, the coaches would be pleased with that first quarter. They'd be asking for a solid hit out for a half, and then there'd be massive wholesale changes after half time. Kudafidi's
playing on the forward line. Hannah's been prominent across the half back line, but it looks even on paper as if Carlton's a bit thin on the forward line. You look at the way they were named, and Kernahan centre half forward, and there wasn't a lot of experience around him.
Well, Kernahan has been up there. If anything, they have gone for height on that forward line. Justin Murphy's been a bit of a live wire for Carlton down there. Lance Whitnell has led, got himself in a position where he had the opportunity to kick a goal, passed it on to Steve Kernahan, who goal. But Collingwood's runners have been very good. Russell, Williams, Robbie Armat figuring very prominently well in that first quarter. Steve Silvani doing well on young Anthony Rocker. So a good first quarter, even though the scoreboard doesn't suggest it.
Rob Gaylard, it's warm, isn't it? I don't know where it's warmer, here or out in the middle.
Well, we're not far away from this tin roof here at the moment, Mike, but one player you probably left out for no reason, I dare say, Dakes, and you try to grab players at the spur of the moment. Krasiska, I thought his first quarter effort was pretty good, actually. From the Carlton side, Beaumont was in everything early. There's Krasiska on screen, as we can see at the moment. They put him in as one of the better players for Collingwood with Williams and Scotty Russell. And on the other side of the ledger, Carlton's Lance Whitnell, shining light, gives them a little bit of focus up forward there. Not frightened to come down outside 50 as well either. And Matthew Allen did well early. Start of the second quarter. Carlton kicking to the legend stand in this time. Quick kick out of the centre. Off the boot of Whitehead. Talking of Whitnell, here he is. Now let's see what sort of a kick he is. Now he's going to be kicking into a reasonable breeze here. Virtually straight into his face. Now he's going to kick from about 49 metres. Lance Whitnell for the Blues. Can he get there second? Right foot drop punt. Just leans back on it a fraction. I reckon that's gone through. I don't think it was touched. Good shepherding in the square. The captain comes up and says, well done, young fellow. And the Blues get their second. Good start, Dave.
Well, a good start and a good goal from Lance Whitnell. Again, being shepherded on the line. But that ball did look like it did hang up in the breeze. So it looks like Carlton are sort of kicking into a bit of a breeze down there. But again, a terrific penetrating kick.
That's the start that Carlton wanted. It took them a fair while to get their first, Mike McCann. 5 behinds on the scoreboard before they got their first major.
Gee, I spoke about the Carlton forward line, and I mentioned Kernahan. Well, this fellow really is emerging, isn't he? Lance Whitnell, good goal. As the Magpies from the bounce, they take it away. Chandler injured in the first quarter, back on, long boot. Nobody at the fall of the ball. Buckley was after it. He was shepherded out, and a free kick has been picked out. I think it's not going to Buckley, I don't think. In fact, it's...
I'll tell you what, Silvani in the spot by the two boys. Sorry to butt in there. Came out of that the worst off.
So, Stephen Silvani, they don't need that. One of the Carlton elder statesmen.
And this is possibly one of the reasons that the coaches don't like playing a lot of their better players.
Just want to come in, you know how you sort of front somebody, Dakes, and just knocks the wind out of you.
So it's Houghton who has the footy. He'll be kicking from just inside the 50. Breeze at his back. The Magpies looking for their second. Umpire doesn't have to move.
It's Rocker.
Big Severio.
Did he move? He certainly. Well, the umpire didn't move, but he decided it was a point anyway. Why waste your energy?
Well, we always say, Michael, that they should join Actors Equity, some of these boys.
He stayed absolutely in the middle, behind the Maggies.
It's interesting with Collingwood also, sorry Robert, breaking there, just their setup, Anthony Rocker, Severio Rocker, Osborne all coming out of the square for Collingwood on leads.
Silvani recovered quickly, breaks away in front of Francis, drives it down to the back of the square, a little bit of a nudge out there, umpire doesn't see it, Shawbull. Collingwood get it moving quickly towards centre wing, when a busy player, that's Watson, chance for the Pies to set it up, goes over the top of Francis, the bouncing football. Julio, Mackay, bit of pressure, nowhere to go, bar the boundary line. 3 Magpies converged at him there, and I think that was probably the safest option.
Well, a very short game Collingwood have opted for this afternoon. Russell then again getting in the clear and not going, when you consider they got height in that forward line, going short once more.
I've got a feeling this might go the way of Carlton. Allen's going to take this, was just held by Richardson. And Matty Allen, they hope, will take the mantle from Madden. Koutafidis swings it across the far side of the ground. Taken on the chest by Sexton.
Christou will get this.
Sexton. Peter Dacos doing a little bit of coaching from the commentary box. And finds it. Looping handball. Again, Sexton comes down and the kick's good and finds his teammate here in Beaumont. Had a few touches, Beaumont, so far. They can set this up into the square. First touch, I think, for the little fellow here. Is this Hogg? It is too.
He's got the job on Tony Francis.
Matthew Hogg. The options have been shut down to him. It's busy traffic. Mackay comes out of the centre. Only travels about 20 metres. And Mackay will come back to the centre here. Christou again. Oof, you can hear it. They're starting to warm up here. And he delivers the ball beautifully down into the forward zone. Copped a bit of a knock earlier on, Murphy. But he's recovered and he'll kick from about 48, 47 metres. Now, having a look at this Melbourne breeze, what we have of it, Mike McCann.
Well, I reckon he's kicking into it.
Just fractionally.
After Lance Whitnell's last kick, he'd, especially where Murphy finds himself, have to be a monstrous kick.
Well, here he comes from 48. Oh, it's a beautiful looking kick off the boot. Does it swing in?
Great goal.
Now, you were saying before, Dakes?
Well, it'd have to be a monstrous kick, and he was able to produce it. It was a fantastic kick out here on the half-forward flank. He was easily 50 metres out by the time of impact. And a terrific goal. Justin Murphy's been very good for Carlton with the ball hitting the ground or just presenting himself for a mark.
Ended up making it easily, didn't he? So second goal of the quarter to the Blues after they struggled to kick them in the first quarter. And now they're out to a 2-goal lead over Collingwood. Back in the middle of the ground and taken away from Richardson there. Good work by Allen. And the Blues by hand get it away. Back it goes to Allen. Hand passes on quickly and chopped off at half forward. In the middle of the ground. Julio tries to kick it out of the air. Hannah. Julio does it again. It ricochets out to Camprioli. It's on behind play just as Camprioli kicked in towards the forward pocket. And this is a practice match. This is a practice match. Just wait until they really get heated up.
Paul Williams being knocked out. That ball being socked straight off the ground, knocking Paul Williams or contact straight in the head. Down he went for the count. That was Ron DeLulio with the kick. The ball came loose, and I still can't work out why the umpire has brought the ball back, but it looks like it was an infringement against Mill Hannah on Alex McDonald.
There was a bit of a tangle in the centre there. Mill was trying to get up. A little bit of a tangle with the stomach of another player, and Big Sav was there to turn around and direct traffic. Play underway yet again.
And towards the centre wing, Richardson picking it up well from ground level. Sexton, he's been a good player.
Been very good.
Cross half back. Holding up traffic. Last time Carlton went out to that outer side, they had to really fiddle around to make much progress at all. Kernahan with a fist. Got it down to his runner. Now off the ground from the skipper. Chance for the Blues. High tackle.
Oh, yes.
And he's picked the free kick.
DeLulio again.
Also become prominent.
Well, he had no other option there. DeLulio was well and truly gone.
In towards full forward. Murphy got up high. The hand pass goes out. Snap. Not bad. Anstey.
Well, a terrific bit of play. That's if it was a goal. And it will be given, I think. Someone has, yes.
It's pre-season for everyone. The goal umpire's just got to get the all clear from the field umpire.
Finding out problems. But terrific bit of play. I think any team or any coach, what they do look for is a player, once the ball is kicked in the forward line, that the player can get to the drop of the ball. On that occasion, Murphy was there. Capriali was able to, or Hamill, sorry, was able to sneak the ball up, and a terrific goal across the body.
It's the biggest delayed reaction I've seen for a long time. Umpire with the ball back in the centre here at Optus Oval. Still fairly warm conditions down here in Melbourne.
Off cover with Sav Rocket for Collingwood.
Allen doing well in the ruck. Probably had the better of Richardson so far. They break through the centre, Collingwood. This is Chandler. Punch from behind there from Koutafidis, but it's Collingwood at the drop of the footy. In front, Silvani gets a nudge out. Sexton. Nothing flash about Sexton, is it? Just a workmanlike job that he does week in and week out.
Well, all he does is stand up against his opponent, and he really, whether the ball's in the air or ball's on the ground, he'll give you a contest every time, and you know you're going to earn the ball whenever you get near it, and he's been a terrific player over the years.
Magpies into attack. They need a goal. They trail at the moment by 18 points. High ball back towards centre wing. Kernahan. Got the hand pass back. DeLulio again. Kernahan and another Collingwood player. In fact, it was Osborne having a bit to do behind play. Down towards the half-forward line. A danger player, Murphy. Good hands. Koutafidis from 45. And he's missed to the lead.
Well, Carlton now use of the ball in the crunch has been very good, but I think if anything, players are overlapping, and if they're being missed on the wing and the ball going down into their half-forward line, well, players are heading and streaming into that line of play, and they're getting numbers there, which is the name of the game.
Just a little bit stronger too at ground level. Dakes, Allen, 1-on-2, nearly pulled it in, kick smothered. Again, Collingwood battling hard in there, and Francis over the top of the ball, trying to drag it underneath. I tell you what, it is a bit willing out there.
Well, it is willing, and I think in Tony Shaw's case too, he's throwing a lot of his players around and using it as a bit of a trial and error game.
Francis and Hamill, a little bit of a niggle here. So the young fellow, this is what you've got to do and how you cut your teeth. There was a throw from Koutafidis, but went unnoticed. Carlton go one way, back the other. This is Beaumont again. I think it's going to be out on the full. Umpire says yes. And unfortunately, it was Murphy who just couldn't quite drag it in. So Collingwood take the free kick out of defence, about 40 metres around from the Carlton goal. Krasiska with the footy. Buckley makes a bit of a move in towards the centre. Koutafidis is about 3 metres behind him. There aren't too many options, so he elects to come towards centre wing, and this is a shocker because there's 3 Carlton players, 2 grabs here for the big fellow, but he plucks it in. The handball from Allen off to Milhana. Punch from behind. Russell spins, finds a teammate. Quick hands here to Wild. Collingwood off and running into the centre. Now hold it up. A chance here. Patterson gets collared. Buckley goes past him, takes the handball. Buckley from about 70 metres out genius when you get hold of it at times. Nathan Buckley casually just strolled in, and I thought off the boot it was a shocking kick, but it just found the centre.
Well, a terrific goal. I think he's
so relaxed.
his forte really is his kicking ability.
Watch
Nathan
this.
Buckley, and again able to take a handball. Scotty Patterson able to get the ball across to him. Looked like he was running into trouble, but no better person to give it to. Nathan Buckley from 55 into an open, unguarded goal square.
Collingwood's second goal, and if you recall back to their first as well, Buckley was a key in that. Some big booming kicks right down the middle of the ground. So the Magpies with a needed goal. They still trail by 13 though. As Carlton take it away, Hannah, he gets the hand pass away. Campery Ali weaves around. Now Hamill, right across the half forward line. He was looking for his teammate out there in Clappe. And finally the ball goes over the boundary line.
That's the thing I like about Whitnell's play. See how far out he is?
That's right.
You know, he's nearly up on centre wing at the moment. He's not frightened to really run up the ground and give them opportunities.
Well, what you find with that as well, Rob, as a forward runs well up the ground, has got the stamina and ability to run back, you're working the backman as well, so that if he does get the ball, he is tired.
12 minutes gone in the second term here at Optus Oval. Beaumont has been a strong player, using his body again, but can't keep the footy in play. And, yes, that's not the second 18, that's the bench. They're running about 28, I think, so there's quite a few in reserve at the moment.
I tell you what's frightening, Mike, there's not one that stands out. Yes, I know him from last year. They're all new faces.
Yes, there's always a high turnover of players these days. As the ball chipped downfield, Sexton about 80 metres out from the goals goes right to centre half forward, and Murphy. We might have to reassess this Carlton forward line. Kernahan, add Whitnell, add Murphy as well. That's not a good kick though. At the back, a couple of Magpies with chances. Kudafides though may pick up the free kick. Or not.
Two minds then what to do with that.
No, I'd give it, he nearly had his head pulled off for the second time, young Chandler.
So Dates would go for the Magpie free kick. I think some of the fans here would go for holding the ball though, and Kudafides free. Still, Kernahan goes for it, doesn't lay a hand on the footy. It goes out to Buckley. I guess he could kick it from there. He's been doing that today. He was in the back pocket, mind you. Picks out Francis. Francis goes across the face of goal again, but it's on behind play.
50 minutes
where I think they're going to have to go back. They will. They'll take the footy right across to the other side of the ground. And Scotty Russell runs onto it, but will go right across back to where Buckley initially had that possession. And the 50 upfield takes them in towards the centre.
Well, Scotty Russell's a player there that was able to get that ball back to the umpire, and one of the rare times he's touched a ball. But young Jason Ansey has done a terrific job on him. Actually kicked a goal as well, so he's been a bit of a find for Carlton in this game.
Peter Dean, one of the veterans, on the bench at the moment for the Blues. Greg Williams, another veteran's not playing, of course. Bradley is another out of action. And towards left half forward now. Magpies into attack. Patterson couldn't control it. That was bundled over the boundary.
Good pressure from Ange Christou. Then Scotty Patterson was not going anywhere, and really all he did was retard him and just push him as close to the boundary line, and on that occasion the ball going in.
Dakes, just pick up for me where Murphy's playing, will you? Unless he's in a ruck rover.
Well,
right?
he's ruck roving and he's playing out of the square for Carlton, so he's on a bit of a rotation system there at the moment.
Allen down to Whitehead, high ball to Hogg, and knocked into the crowd. And there's a fair old crowd here too. As I mentioned, they were talking about 25,000. It wouldn't be that. I reckon the heat's probably kept a few away, but I'm surprised if it's round about the 15 mark.
I think there's a few got Optus here in Melbourne too, Mike.
I'm sure that's the case. Boundary throw in, Magpies at left half forward.
About to bring it back in. Nearly 15 minutes of this second quarter. Carlton 30 lead, Collingwood 17. Spinning out of the pack, trying to take the footy with him, but getting caught here. This was Sharkey, tried to go with the footy. And we'll just find out what the umpire's going to do here. Watson going to take the free kick against...
Didn't have it.
The Collingwood player here in Christou. Now, he's got the wind at his back, and well within scoring range. Now, they need this, Collingwood.
He is normally a good kick, and I'm not going to put the moz on him, Rob.
Let's have a look and see what Shane Watson can do with this from 35 metres out. drops it onto the boot. Now, the goal umpire doesn't deviate from the centre, but he didn't do that before either, Mike McCann, and he's done exactly the same thing.
I warned you, though. You didn't fall for it. Dear, oh dear. Well, pre-season, I mentioned. He doesn't want to stretch the hammies too much. So another behind of the Magpies. It's the next lesson to be learnt. Don't watch the umpire. As Silvani kicks it back into play, gets the distance, but also gets the chest of Buckley in towards half forward, fisted away from Silvani, trying to make amends. Over there, Williams for the Magpies, back on the ground. Watson over the top, grabbing the ball, and Osborne's grabbing Silvani. This is the 14th of February. This is Valentine's Day. But do you reckon there's not some heat in this battle? Free kick going Carlton's way. But look at them tossing their weight around. In the meantime, the Blues work it across their half-back line. Looking there for Hannah. Hannah with a bandana. It used to be Duel with a headband. Must be something about the headgear at Carlton. Something to do with the heat, I think. 35 degrees, or Sexton, and his Magpie opponent there in McDonald totally out of position. As they take it down towards left half forward. Whitner was at the back, running onto it. Patterson for Collingwood. He's got Hogg to beat. Yes, he gave up a lot of ground there. Got the hand pass back towards Ahmed. Well wide, too wide. Out of play on the full. Sexton with a free kick.
Well, I think the problem there is Stephen Patterson trying to win the ball and pushing it back towards Carlton's goal.
Good kick. Found its mark beautifully. Hamill, too far out to score, goes in short. And that is a good kick. Right onto the chest there of Beaumont. Left footer, awkward angle for him, goes to the square, and he's picked out his teammate there. This should be a goal. Manton, and the Blues rather get their fit. Glenn Manton's first.
Haven't seen much of him, but the same token was on in the first quarter.
Well, I think he started, has been often on the ground, Glenn Manton, has been used in defence, and on that occasion sort of coming well down the ground to put himself in a position. But again, good use of the ball by Carlton. 3 shorter kicks, able to work their way into the goal square, and then Manton, who's playing on the half-forward line at the moment, able to finish off for him. But a well-worked goal.
18 minutes, second quarter. Coming onto the ground, Prestigiacomo.
Good hands.
Carlton, away out of the centre quickly. Beautiful pass, just over the top. Centre half forward. Collingwood defence, booted out wide. Chance for the racehorses here. 34 plays 22. Carlton in front. The little fellow there in Duelio has been battling hard all day, and unfortunately can't keep it in. I just get the impression he might have bulked up a little bit, Duelio.
Well, he's looking very good. His speed hasn't changed, as we know. A bit of a whippet, but Carlton very strong out of the centre in this second quarter.
Very strong in the legs. Richardson in front position, but Allen again doing exceptionally well in the ruck. Recovers well. Manton a chance again. Carlton 1-on-2. The ball falls correctly for them though to Lock. He gets the handball up quickly. He only get caught, young man, but he gets away. Lining it up from right on 50, Carlton. Kernahan on his own gets the football punched away from him. I think that came from the boot there of Lock again.
Terrific spoil from young Schwabel on that occasion, who's done a terrific job on Steve Kernahan. Again, we're hoping that Schwabel really can improve on last year.
That sun at this point of time will certainly be a pain, because it's just to the top of the grandstand there, Mike. It'll be hitting them right in the eyes down there.
Yes, that's what Kernahan would have been looking into. There's the mark being pulled in there by Richardson. Both the ruckmen have impressed me in their own ways today. Richardson's got a few of the knockouts, and Allen's done well around the ground. This time Richardson right across the half-back line. Kernahan right in the contest for the Blues. Kutafides there as well. And they've got some support out there. Murphy. Mind you, the footy's right up on centre wing. Schwabel's done well. Gets it away, Scotty Russell. Loose hand pass. Schwabel again. Picks out Krasiska. Wants to kick it long with the left. Does so towards Osborne and Silvani. Use of the body as the footy goes over the boundary line. One long kick. That's often all it takes, but they messed around out there on centre wing until Krasiska got it. Osborne's really given a bit of physical appearance and presence down there to the Collingwood forward line, putting his body right in there. Allen got it down. Buckley again. Oh, he's a clever player by hand to Williams from the boundary. The impossible angle, rightly so, out in the full.
Well, if anything, Collingwood's biggest problem in the second quarter has been just winning the ball too deep in the pockets or across that half-forward line. Haven't been able to get into the centre corridor. I think the inactive play of Severio Rocker and Anthony Rocker really hasn't helped them either.
Julio from the back pocket. I don't know how many touches this fellow's had, but Murphy gets it down here again for Carlton. Koutafidis is pushed out of position. 3 Carlton players over the top of the footy again. Is that a whistle? I hear someone in the crowd's got one. It certainly doesn't belong to the umpire. Collingwood from defence. That's the umpire's whistle, and it'll be further up the ground here. Does he play advantage? I think he will too. This is Ahmat. Robbie Ahmat delivers it into the forward line. Not a well-delivered kick though. Puts his teammate under a heap of pressure. Might have copped one a fraction too high too. A bit lucky to get away with that.
Great courage from Stephen Patterson, running straight at the ball, and Stephen Silvani, as we've come to know, just running straight at anything in his way.
Stephen Patterson, let's have a look at the options for him. Osborne's been closely guarded in the square by Silvani. Williams puts a short lead in. Buckley just strolls across the front. Well, he was looking for a short and it just wasn't there.
And I think their biggest problem, Rob, has been that every time Collingwood have won the ball, it has been out wide. Carlton have dominated the centre corridor.
And you watch them set this up. Duilio again. In towards the centre. They get their running game straight down through the corridor. Straight looking for Koutafidis. One grab. No one home at all, though. He's going to have to take his time. There is no one down there in the square.
Well, I think
what is there is Collingwood.
Well, what he'll be looking for is a player from behind to be trying to come up, and you've got...
But it's 2 on 1.
Waiting. Ange Christou, if he waits a little bit longer, Ange Christou coming down from halfback.
Blakes, you should be coaching. Now, Christou, you're going to be faced with the same problem, though. Oh, look at the kick hold up here. Punch from behind by Krasiska. Collingwood, they certainly had the numbers down in that square. Get it out wide. Scotty Russell, plenty of touches. He's going to have a bounce if he wants to. He does. Sets the handball up, out wide. But he sets his teammate out under pressure. Caught a little high. Again, the advantage played to half forward. Battling forward, Beaumont. Oh, collared a little bit high. Osborne stopped him in his tracks. As you said before, Mike McCann, Richard Osborne.
Couldn't agree more.
If he can't win the footy, he's going to make them earn it.
Yes, he's been involved in a few down there, hasn't he? So, that physical presence as Mackay gets the hand pass away. Half-back towards the middle of the ground. Time ticking away. Just a minute or two remaining in this first half. Krasiska. The Magpies need a late goal. They trail by 19 points. Number 50 there is Peter O'Dwyer. The newer players for the Magpies, O'Dwyer, right half forward. He's picked out Robbie Ahmat. Wants to run inside the 50. Kicks from the edge. Not a bad looking boot. Offline. And Manton can't pull in the mark.
Now that's the second occasion Robbie Ahmat has kicked to a Carlton player on his own deep in defence. He did it in the first quarter, he's done it again there, and really what he has to do is stay back instead of running off and bouncing it and giving himself less time. He's got to give himself more time.
Carlton with possession, centre half back into the centre. The kick's not a good one. Richardson there. Ahmat, handball, teammate, Rocker, wide, chance for Collingwood. The boot here of Patterson. Umpire says sorry, you're offline again. So Collingwood doing the attacking late in this second quarter. Nearly 25 minutes gone, 2-7-19. Carlton 5-7-37 here at Optus Oval.
There's 24 and a half minutes gone, and we're playing 2 25-minute quarters in the first half and 2 20-minute quarters in the second. Practice match. That's what these things happen. There's Carlton out wide to left half-back. Murphy has impressed wherever he's played. Ruck roving at the moment. He's a strong build of a fellow, isn't he? Good kick as well towards Koutafidis, but half-time here at Optus Oval. Half-time and a good quarter by the Blues. They led by a point at quarter time, and in that second quarter they kicked 4 goals 2 to Collingwood 1 goal 4, 4-2 to 1/4. So there it is, 5-7-37, plays 2-8-20, and some pretty inaccurate kicking for goal by both sides there, but a 17-point margin, and that's pretty handy for the Carlton side. So half-time here at Optus Oval, a well-earned drink coming up for these players. Very hot conditions. It's good to see them contesting the Optus Challenge Cup. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment.